writing goes so much more in depth than we think. That when you read a manga story, the pages that you see that are actually manifest, that are actually real, that's like the least of it. Hey guys, this is Kamikan, and for as much as I talk about writing on this channel, I'm still learning a lot as I go when I write new chapters of my latest webcomic, Saintly. I almost barely know what I'm doing. I'm currently on chapter 4, and I have 20 pages for that chapter to do. And in the process of creating the chapter, I'm learning everything that I'm talking about on this channel as I go along. These are things that either I've considered to be good storytelling tactics in the past when I've read them in other stories, or I've learned them through books and through videos and through experience over time. In fact, I have multiple documents cataloging everything that I've learned over the years about writing. This one is a 122-page document listing out every note that I've taken on writing throughout the years. I call it my writing toolbox. And it's basically 122, actually even more with these tabs here, 140 page checklist of ideas and things that I can flip through to see what I'm missing from my comic story and what I might need to add. Not to mention, I also cataloged the stories that had the most impact on me growing up as I was reading and put them on a list so that I would always remember what stories inspired what I'm creating now. It literally says, and this is a note that I put to myself, stories that were memorable, impactful, or just plain inspired me during my formative years. And even now, maybe I can write why I like these stories based on my guidelines in my style Bible and later post to my blog. And this was years ago that I wrote this. This is thoughts that I was having, but I've even written down how many pages is this thing. This is what I call my style Bible, and okay, this one's just about 30 pages, where this is just ideas and written theories about storytelling that I've just thought over time. Like, this is stuff that I haven't read in a book. These are things that I've just written down and typed in on Google Documents over the years. Things that I've noticed in my favorite stories and tropes that I've made up that didn't come from tvtropes.com. And this is not even the last one, but this is a list of what I call the tropes of sublime characterization, and it's a term that exists in my own head that refers to a feeling that I get when I read a story that just seems to flow between characters, where they have such a depth of character to them that I can't help but be enamored with the story and the preceding events. I wrote down a list of all the tropes about it, and then I wrote down a list of examples of when I felt that feeling reading various stories in the past. And these are things that I might have to go over time on the channel, just to show you, like, this is how dedicated I am to storytelling and writing. I don't even know how many pages this document is. Let me see. It says 24. Okay, cool. And even right now, as I'm writing chapter 4 of my webcomic, I'm looking at Koe no Katachi, or A Silent Voice, to read back to all the way that the story flows and how the emotions flow throughout the story, to make me feel as the deep feelings that I felt when I read through this. This was such a good, solid story that I'm like, okay, how can I put some of the essence of that into my own story? And I really can't just analyze it. I don't have the time to just analyze it in depth and put that into the story I have right now. So all I do is keep it by me and hope to absorb some of its powers just by holding the book. I have the full 7 volumes of this story, and I'm just trying to channel that into Saintly. And that's just how it's going right now. I'm working on chapter 4's layouts, and this is like the latest page that I stopped on, page 8. And even then I'm thinking about, okay, there was a time jump between here and here. So between page 6 and page 8, there was a bit of a time jump where the characters were gone and then they came back. And it's not like a time skip where it's like several years, but it was just a short a day-long time jump where the characters left and came back. And I realized last night that I have to think about every step or everything that they did between that time jump to when they reappear again. They can't just reappear and I can just write that scene and it'll make sense. Like, I have to think about everything they were doing beforehand and properly sequence it so that when we get to the scene, it feels cohesive. It feels like it's part of a larger story, a larger whole. Like, you have to write not only the scene, but you have to write what happened before the scene and what happens after the scene and between all the steps. I mean, you don't have to write it out, but you can think it inside your head. It has to be something that you're at least considering. And even with a power system in your story, you have to think about, what is the origin of the universe? How did it even start? How did all this even come to be, to the point where people now have abilities and powers that we don't see on our own Earth? Because there's reasons we don't have it on our own Earth, and there has to be a concrete or some type of reason that it exists on your imaginary story, because that's what creates the alternate world, the alternate universe that you're imagining in your story, which makes it more believable when you write about the characters and the lives and the stuff that they're going through on the page. Writing goes so much more in depth than we think, that when you read a manga story, the pages that you see that are actually manifest, that are actually real, that's like the least of it. You're looking at the least of the effort that has gone into creating the story, because the writer has to know everything about every single character like a god. They have to know their past, their present, their future. They have to know their brothers and sisters, their parents, all that stuff. They don't necessarily have to know their names and whatnot, but they have to know, like, what are their life situations. They have to write 100 stories just to tell the one story that they're actually writing. And they have to know that information inside and out, so that they can make a believable story on the one that they're telling on the surface, which is what you see in the manga. And that's just how it goes, man. And so that is one of the things that I'm learning as I create my latest webcomic, Saintly. It is a demon chase horror action comedy about two best friends who have to outrun the demon loan sharks that they borrowed from. Basically, it's like Scooby-Doo meets K-pop Demon Hunters without the K-pop. And the story backs the main character into a corner where she has to decide between the hard path to success or lose her soul to the lure of easy money. And we get to see the ramifications of her choice, and if she can hide this deal with the devil from her friend, or if it will tear them apart. And I hope you read my comic in the description and check out the story. It should appear in your email inbox or your spam folder if you don't see it. So I hope that's given you a little hint as to what goes on behind the scenes in making and writing a story that other people can read. Like, you have to put in so much more effort just to make the surface level of what you're creating believable. Like, you have to, it's literally an iceberg. It's literally the shape of an iceberg. So that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you for watching. Please rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.